Are you wondering whether or not it's okay to buy a home with solar? Hi, I'm Kelley Norton and I'm your AZ Realty lady.
Hi, I'm Kelley Norton, your AZ Realty lady at EXP Realty. Count on me for all things Arizona real estate.
Now there's a lot to think about if you're going to be buying a home that has solar. There's homes that have paid off solar where the seller just outright paid for it or they financed it and it's eventually paid off. Or there's homes that have leased solar. Now, there's definitely pros and cons to both, but on the buying side, of course, if the solar is paid off completely and you're purchasing the home and you don't have to have a lease fee on top of whatever your saved utility bills are, then that's going to be the better route for you if you don't have those two bills and you just have your electric. One thing a lot of buyers don't realize when they're purchasing a home with leased solar is that you actually have to qualify for the home plus the payment for the solar. They do not take into account that you would be paying for utilities anyway when you buy a home. So unfortunately, you still have to qualify for that in addition. So you have to keep that in mind. If your purchase price is $250 and then you find a home that has leased solar on top of it, you might not qualify for that home. So you want to make sure that you check with your lender and make sure that if it is a home with a leased solar, that you give them the purchase price, your taxes that you'd have to pay, any homeowners association that you might have to pay, in addition to that solar payment. Now keep in mind, the solar lease also has to go to the lender eventually. So you want to make sure that you take a quick look at it and there's nothing really crazy inside that lease. Hi, I'm Kelley. I hope that you're enjoying the information. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel to get more useful information about Arizona and the real estate market, and ding the bell right here to be notified when I drop new videos. I'm always available for you by phone, by text, however you need to reach me, I'm here. Take care. Some of the things that you want to check for is who's going to maintain these solar panels. And a lot of the solar panels do require cleaning, say every 6 months or so. So who's responsible for that? These are things that you want to look for in the lease to make sure that you know what you're getting into. Another thing that is really important to make sure when you're doing a purchase that has leased solar is check on that roof. Make sure that a roof inspection was done and make sure that the roof is in okay condition, because if those solar panels have to be taken off, on average for a 1,500 square foot home, you're looking at approximately $2,000 to $3,000 just to have the solar taken off and put back on. So if you have to have a roof put on, you need to make sure that you keep in mind that there's going to be additional cost removing those panels and putting them back on along with the roof. If you can find a home with owned solar, that's going to be the way to go. You don't have to worry about qualifying for the additional payment, and it's just a straight out benefit to you. Now, if you get leased solar, you're going to have a little bit of a payment for that loan, if you will, on the solar. And then in addition to that, whatever you have left over after your banked solar pays off your used electricity, that's going to be on top of your lease. So you'll have both of those payments that you'll want to make sure that you keep in mind. In Arizona, there's over 300 different solar providers. So be sure that you pick a company that is trustworthy and that you've done some research on, because there are mixed reviews on some of the companies out here. So just make sure that you definitely do your homework. Some of the questions that buyers have: will the solar ruin my roof? Is it going to damage the roof having solar installed? Well, if it's done right, it shouldn't. So it all depends on the contractor that you choose. So make sure that they're licensed, make sure they're experienced, and you might want to do a little Better Business Bureau check on them just to make sure that they don't have any major complaints for that exact issue. Arizona is one of the sunniest states in the country. So of course it makes sense to have solar. And it's just misunderstood, I think, in a lot of ways. So the way that the solar works in most scenarios is that you're going to bank the solar energy that you've gotten, and then it's going to be applied towards your utilities that you have used. So then you'll see a little credit or a small balance that you'll have. So it just depends how much energy you're using and how much you're banking. Now, of course, if it's a cloudy day, you're probably not going to bank as much energy towards your bill. A lot of people wonder, how much is the savings? So I have seen in some of my sellers where they have bills prior to the solar and they were around $400 to $500 a month, and then after they had the solar it was $100, $120 a month for the same month, different year. So you can get a really big savings, which is why it's great if the solar is paid off, because remember, if it's a lease, you have that lease payment in addition. So you have to just kind of see, is it worth it to you to have that lease payment and then your savings, which savings could be, depending on how you use, $100 to $200 even with the lease. You might be asking, how long do the solar panels last? Well, on average, the solar panels are going to last you 25 to 30 years. So keep that in mind. If you're buying a home and the solar panels have been on there for 20 or so years, they are going to be entering the last bit of their good shelf life. Solar prices have dropped 45% in the last 5 years, which is why we're seeing so many homes that actually have solar being installed. There were tax benefits in the very beginning, and those have since dropped off. So there was a little bit of a slowdown, but now prices have dropped on the solar. So it's really not that bad for a lot of sellers to just pay off the solar completely. But sometimes the leases are necessary and you still get a savings even with the lease. But make sure you read the fine print so you know who's responsible for all of the maintenance and if there's any required, checkups that you need to do on it in order for it to be under warranty. Did you know that having solar panels on your roof, according to some studies, actually reduces the heat on your roof of up to 38%? So in degrees, they're saying that that's about 5 degrees cooler for your rooftop temperature. So when you think about Arizona and the heat and how it goes into the attic, this actually could help the overall temperature of your attic and kind of insulate your house a little bit as well. So that's definitely a benefit.
Hi, I'm Kelley Norton, your AZ Realty lady at EXP Realty. Count on me for all things Arizona real estate.